of the things I wanted to talk with you today about, Tony, which is kind of along these lines of like change my mind and going up against, the sacred cows of IO psychology, is about employee engagement. So do you want to talk about
Mm,
that at all and what your viewpoint on it is?
I'll try not to be so much on take so long on my soapbox on this one.
Talk away, man.
Yeah,
We got time.
yeah, you can edit stuff out, right? I know that I might get like some debate back about this topic. I get it. There's some people who invest like their whole lives in this particular topic. But engagement, it's kind of an interesting kind of area. I've been in people analytics for a while, and the way that I got started in is that when I was in grad school, I worked for this kind of small boutique consulting firm, and they were trying to make their way, and so they kind of allowed their consultants to kind of build their own methodology as long as it fits back to what it's trying to sell, right? But the best way that I could do it is through data. I was just in IO psychology grad program. I came from like a research-based undergrad university and all that stuff. So all like what I knew best was data. Back then, analytics wasn't really a big thing in HR or employee
Right.
type of data. So I just started delving into it, like using data. But the easiest way to do it for me was just to like start surveying and gather that sort of data. And so that's how I got introduced to like the world of engagement, job satisfaction, manager effectiveness, all that stuff. I just used what was basically generally accepted back then around like how to measure these things, job satisfaction, employee engagement. Like I think employee engagement, who was it that like first created dimension out of it or did
Isn't
research or
it
was
a
named
U name? I can't
Kahn?
remember. It's like Ultric or something like that.
I
I've
thought it
seen
was Kahn.
Schneider. The
Yeah.
other was Khan. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I just used that and put it together. It put together the measure. And so it's pretty well studied and all that. And I got some pretty good results. And that's what kind of kicked me off into people analytics. But that's the separate part of the story. Over the years, in trying to measure engagement at my different companies that I've worked for, we used like different vendors that came up. I'll try not to name a lot of them,
Right.
but they had like their own way of measuring engagement. Like it was slightly different. Like the outcome was similar, right? Trying to get at like this connectedness to your company, your work, the other people that you work for, the investment that you have like personally in what you do and so on, like all that stuff. But the way that it was measured was so different by vendor, by the different vendors that you see. And I was confused by that because I had also, I have two masters, one in IO psychology, the other one is in clinical psychology. That was a non-terminal master's because I was getting a doctorate in clinical psychology and realized that I'm not really great at clinical psychology. So I focused on like assessments and research and all that stuff. I came into the field thinking, well, a dimension is a dimension. Somebody discovered it, did a lot of research. We agreed as a scientific community saying, okay, this makes sense. This is how we should measure things. This is what are the drivers and all that stuff. And yet I kept seeing like these vendors coming up with new ways of measuring. And I would look at their tech manuals. I forgot what we call them now, but like the validation studies, and they're kind of off or weird and all that stuff. In the end, though, they did their job. And I thought that was weird. They were still doing the same thing we thought they should do.